Now we're going to have our third evaluator. Communication is a skill, but English is a tool. So if you don't know how to use the tool, you can't communicate your idea clearly, no matter how thoughtful you are. And for this speaker, he is really a master of the tool. So let's welcome Terence to give evaluation.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome the 18th guest. Well, today I have the honor to evaluate IV's your project number 1 on your storytelling manual. Well, when I first received the project 1 on reading a story, or reading out loud a story, I thought interpretive reading seems pretty easy, but it is not. Not only do the speaker have to read through the whole stories, fully understand the stories, and be able to apply the different delivery skills such as verbal varieties, maybe facial expressions, as well as pacing, in order to elaborate the author's thoughts and to bring the audience into the story. And Ivy, I would like to congratulate that you have fully exemplified that. Please join me in congratulations. Just like a favorite saying, we spend 20% of the efforts to achieve 80% of the results. And I'm sure, Ivy, you have delivered 99.999% of the results. So, let me highlight a few. First of all, interpretive reading is a matter of preparation. Because interpretive reading, you have to read through the whole stories and understand what the author was thinking about. And first things, I did not see you glance at the book at all. You kind of treating the book as a prop, by just maintaining eye contact almost all the time. This is very difficult to achieve, and that's a great job. And also, for verbal varieties, I know that you have applied that fully throughout the story to bring up, to elaborate, to illustrate the differences in the characters, such as Brenda, the tiger, and at the end, I believe it was the healer, the wise man. Yes. So you have used different pitches to differentiate among the 3 characters in the stories. That's also very difficult to achieve. Now, for the 0.00001% of the stories, I could provide a few highlights, a few tips for that. Number 1 is the narrative. So I know that in the story, the project, it says never start at very high pitch so that you can't build to the climax. But I find that it seems a little too soft at the beginning. Once upon a time, there was so. Well, if you want to maintain that soft voice, then at the end you also have to use this soft voice. But I find that it seems a little, bring up to your natural tone, right through the middle through the end. So perhaps you can consider starting off with a natural tone, so that will represent the narrative's voice. So once upon a time there was such and such. You don't necessarily need to raise the pitch for that. And the second point is the conclusions. I find that you use a rhetorical questions at the end to wrap up your stories, and I find that right after the climax, you bring the audience to the very top, and then you sort of drop the story. I think it might be better to just slowly wind down the stories, perhaps telling them more of the stories, or what are the takeaway of the stories, and then leading to or followed by rhetorical questions. That might end your stories in a high note. With that, I'm sure that your storytelling journeys will improve dramatically in your subsequent projects. Back to you.